The other day while I was packing my toolboxes, I started thinking to myself, what tools would I buy right out of the gate if I were to start all over with porcelain slabs? The tools that you may not realize you needed, ones that they don't show you in some of the training courses. What were the things that I would recommend to others? So for today's video, we're going to discuss the 5 tools you didn't know you needed for porcelain slab installations. Let's get started. Tool number 1 that you didn't know you needed for porcelain slab installations, the Aqix by Collomix. Now some people might call it the Aqix, the Aqix, the Aqix. A lot of different ways that people have pronounced this tool, but it is fantastic no matter how you say it. What's really neat for me is that I try to always find ways to make my apprentices, my helpers, good right out of the gate. Give them tasks that I know are going to be consistent, and that's what this tool does. You can set your water volume, attach it to the side of the bucket, and it will start pouring right away and stop right on the dime. It goes by quarts and liters, and if you're doing floor leveler where you need hundreds of bags, this thing is going to give you consistency in water, time in and time out. So if your helpers are at least paying attention, they can mix your thin set to the same consistency on every single job. Obviously, you're going to have to tweak it a little bit due to heat and humidity, but for the most part, you're going to get consistency out of your helper. Then it's just a matter of how well are they mixing that thin set to make sure that it's usable on a job. Now this tool might be a little bit pricey for you at around $300 a unit, but again, having your helper immediately learn how to do thin set properly is a game changer. Tool number 2 that you didn't know you needed for porcelain slab installations. And this one you may disagree with me. Maybe you have your own system that you like. But in my situation, the tool that I really feel is necessary are caulk removal devices. Now these can be found on Amazon for about $6. They're made of rubber. There's different shapes, different sizes. There's even different types. But for the most part, these allow you to quickly clean a caulk line or silicone line and have it look even. It gives you a finished appearance on the first pass, and that's very important. The other thing, just like we talked about with the Aqix, if I give these to my helper, my apprentice, and I show him how to use it properly, I now have doubled the experience factor and the consistency, whereas maybe my finger might be a little bit bigger than my helper's finger, and in turn we get uneven presentation. But with these devices, we're taking what is normally a skill and have now made it a mitigated solution. It's something that is very quick and easy to apply and to learn to do correctly.
Let's go. I'm standing here with my caulk in my hand. Grab your caulk, let's put it in the holes.
One other feature about using these tools that I really like, it keeps the mess off your fingers. You might get a little bit every now and again, but you're not purposely smearing down and trying to clean up later. It just, again, it gives you that finished look that for $6, why not put it in your box and learn how to use it? Tool number 3 that you didn't know you needed for porcelain slab installation. And this is one that's actually relatively new to my toolbox. And that's a grinder variable speed that runs on battery power. Now, I'm a Milwaukee guy. If you've seen many of my videos or seen a lot of my posts, you'll notice the red around. And the new Milwaukee grinder that I've been using has revolutionized the way I see job sites. I'm now disconnected in case a job site does not have adequate power or it's 200, 300 feet to the power pole. At least I can have something at my disposal that allows me to still be productive on a job site. Just the other week in Charlotte, on my last day trying to install, the power company came, they turned off the power pole. They disconnected everything. I was stuck. But because I had this grinder, I was still able to make the cuts I needed and to get the job done. I mean, just think about the situations you have been in. You've been on top of scaffolds or on top of a ladder, and you need to cut off just a little bit of the tile to make sure it fits safely and correctly. So are you going to get down and pull a 100-foot cable and connect it to a grinder and then have that all of a sudden disconnect as you climb up? That's a waste of your time. If you have the freedom of having this grinder battery powered, it makes your life so easy. It makes your life much more simple. And that's really what we're after. Simple solutions for common problems. The Milwaukee grinder that I'm using, I really like how it has this very quick 3-second auto stop. You don't have a blade that keeps turning and turning and turning. That to me is a great safety feature, and safety is very important to me and my team. But it's also nice having that variable speed, the locking on and off switch instead of a paddle switch. It's been a really good asset and addition to my toolbox. Tool number 4 that you didn't know you needed for porcelain slab installation, the Rubi ECD 2-in-1 blade. This blade is my workhorse. And for the 10 plus installers that I have gotten into their hands, they all are big buyers into it now. It's a blade that is diamond encrusted all the way around. It has the ability to miter, shape, straight cut, just about anything you really need it to do, it can. And depending on the speed, it also kind of gives you this feel that you're able to either go super fine or super aggressive. It is dual-sided, which makes it very handy. If you're mitering, for instance, you can flip the blade around and be able to continue to reuse this thing. Now, it is on the more costly side, approximately $60 online, but what you are able to do with that blade makes it that much more imperative, that much more useful to keep in your box. If you were to turn that blade vertical and look at it just from head on, instead of being like a sharp point like you would find with a regular blade, it's more contoured, it's more rounded. So as you're cutting through your slab, you're not creating a pinch point where the pressure builds up and then pops loose and cracks on you. This is more like putting in a dry bit or a core bit hole into the corner of your cutouts. It's giving just a little bit of that radius to allow for the pressure to be consistent as you're cutting through the slab. Again, give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't have to tell anybody. Tool number 5 that you didn't know you need for successful porcelain slab installations. And this is an area that was a severe weak spot for me for many years, and that was preparation of a job. So what tool do I use to make my prep work that much better and faster? Well, it's from Built with Foam, and it's their Shim Kit. These shims come in sizes from 1/16 to 1/2 inch. Now the concept is that you set up your laser level, preferably a 360 degree, and then in turn you determine where the wall is going to be needing to be feathered out. And once you figure out the distance to create that plumb line, you're then grabbing the appropriate thickness of foam shims to flatten it out. At that point, once you've gridded out the entire wall, you can attach your cementitious concrete board, your foam board, whatever it is you're using as a substrate, and this should give you as close to a flat surface as possible. I've heard of some guys online doing showers in 45 minutes flat. That's fast when you compare other options that are out there. I was using Luan strips for a good while. They were kind of clunky. They did not look that good. But I've already had twice in the last month builders approach me and say, "What are you doing? Let me take a photo. I like that presentation." So I'm such a big believer in the Built with Foam system that the good folks down there have agreed to give y'all a discount if you use the link below to purchase your first starter set. Again, try it out. It's not that expensive, and if it saves you time, that saves you money. So give it a shot, try it out. And again, like I said earlier, if you don't like it, you don't have to tell anybody. Just don't buy it again. So why don't you tell me something that I should try out? Leave a comment below. Let me know what we should add into our box here in North Carolina. And as always, you're not a pro unless you know.